story: The Night Visitor. Katya lived alone in an old apartment on the top floor of a 5-story building. The building was quiet. Most of the residents were elderly, and evenings brought complete silence. One evening, returning from work, Katya noticed that her apartment door was slightly ajar. Her heart raced, but she thought she might have forgotten to close it before leaving. Katya went inside and checked every room, but found nothing unusual. She calmed down and spent the evening as usual, watching TV and making dinner. When night came, Katya went to bed. She was awakened by a strange sound, like someone quietly walking down the hallway. She turned on her nightlight and listened. The sound stopped. She decided it was just her imagination and went back to sleep. During the night, she was woken up again by the sound. This time it was closer, right outside her bedroom door. Katya sat up in bed and held her breath, listening. Outside, she could hear quiet footsteps and rustling. She grabbed her phone and dialed the police, but to her horror, the signal wouldn't go through. Katya slowly got out of bed and approached the bedroom door. She pressed her ear against it and heard someone breathing on the other side. Fear gripped her, but she forced herself to ask, "Who's there?" There was no response. Instead, the footsteps receded and the apartment fell silent again. Katya decided to open the door. She stepped into the hallway holding a heavy vase, ready to defend herself. The hallway was empty. She checked every room but found no one. However, something strange caught her eye on the floor by the front door. There lay a dirty note with the words, "I will return." Panicked, Katya called her neighbors and asked for help. The neighbors came and reassured her, saying that someone might have been trying to scare her. They helped her check the apartment but found nothing suspicious. That night, Katya couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, listening to every sound. Suddenly, she heard footsteps again, but this time they were in her room. She opened her eyes and saw a figure standing by her bed in the dark. The figure slowly leaned down and whispered, "I have returned." Katya tried to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. The figure vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. The next morning, neighbors found Katya in a state of shock. Her eyes were filled with terror, and she couldn't speak a word. The police found no signs of forced entry or anyone else in the apartment. No one could explain what had happened that night. Katya never returned to that apartment, and her story became another terrifying legend about the night visitor who comes at night and disappears without a trace.